Hi, and welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating Podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much for joining me this week. So, on today's podcast, we're going to talk about something that has been incredibly instrumental in my life. Um, but I'm also going to be honest and say that this has been kind of a double edged sword. It's been something that's been really, really positive, but it's also been something that at times for me as an emotional eater has been very, very negative. And so I want to make sure that we will talk about both sides and the reasonings behind using this strategy as a way of helping you address your emotional eating as well as helping you lose weight. And that strategy is movement. I'm not calling it exercise. I'm calling it movement because I think exercise, a lot of people hear that and they're like, "Oh, I don't exercise." And yeah, you don't, okay, you don't exercise. I'm going to say that's fine. That's a choice. But movement, just moving your body, like we all can do that. We all can move our bodies. And so I'm going to really talk today about how we need to look at exercise or movement in a different way and in a way that is going to do all kinds of wonderful things for us and not have it be viewed at in the traditional way that I think most people have viewed it in the past. So if you are listening on the podcast, welcome. If you are listening in the Facebook Emotional Eating group, thank you so much for joining me today. So happy you all were able to jump on, and I will definitely be asking you all to chime in. So actually, to start off, I would love for those people who incorporate some kind of structured movement or planned, I'm going to say planned movement, for those of you who have some kind of planned movement in your day, and it doesn't have to be every day, but just some sort of planned movement. If you can just type movement into the comments, and that way I'll know. I'll get an idea about how many people have some kind of structured movement in their day, whether it's or in their week, I should say. So it may be 3, 4 times a week. It could be every day, whatever the case may be. So just in the comments, just write the word movement, and then that will give me an idea about where we are in a sense of the movement of our bodies and how we're doing that. So, if you are listening on the podcast, welcome. Super happy you're here. You have found the Breakthrough Emotional Eating podcast, and we are coming to you live from the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community on Facebook. If you are not a member, you want to become a member, it's www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough. And you definitely want to come and be a part of this community. And I will say, from a personal standpoint, this community is probably one of the most supportive and loving and uplifting communities that I have ever been a part of. And just two examples of that this week. Um, First off, from what everybody, most people in the group know that I had a little bit of a setback in regards to exercise on Monday morning, and did a little something to my shoulder, which I've had something with my shoulder for a while, and I did a little something more to it on Monday morning, and was going to need to spend the afternoon getting seen at the doctor's, and so I took the Monday mindset Monday that we usually do live in the group, took that off, and I wanted to let my members know. And the outpouring of just prayers and good wishes and all of that love that I got, I really, really appreciate it. I felt it, and nothing was seriously wrong, and I was able to kind of get myself back on the road to recovery. So again, just a great illustration. And another illustration today, we had one of our members who is not only a member of the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community, but also is a member in the memberships, the Breakthrough membership site. She was in a car accident in up in Washington, away from her home. She was traveling with her granddaughter, Diane. Diane, we love you. And and Diane posted in the group, and there was just an outpouring of concern, an outpouring of people being worried about her and her situation. And that's the kind of people we have in the group. So if you're not a member, you definitely want to be a member, because if anything, it is just an incredibly supportive and just loving group of people. So it's pretty amazing. So we'd love to have you there. So come on over and join us. Again, www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough. All right. So I cannot take credit for this title. And I'm hoping that at some point, this coach that I work with will be able to hear this and know that I'm going to give her full props for this, because we were talking about it yesterday in our coaching session. So this is Morgan Toubeau. Thank you so much for the inspiration of joyful movement. So that is what I want to talk about today, is joyful movement of your body. Um, we're going to talk about 4 different aspects of it. And so what you're going to learn today is you're going to learn why. Like, why should you move your body? I mean, people know, and that kind of stuff, but we're going to talk about why you should move your body, what you should be doing, how it directly impacts emotional eating. I think pretty much everybody knows how it impacts weight loss, but I want to explain and really go into detail about how it impacts emotional eating, and how it is a very important strategy when it comes to emotional eating. And then lastly, I want to present to you a new way of approaching and looking at movement slash exercise, that I hope will change your perspective. If you are somebody who is not necessarily wanting to or open to exercise, I want to make sure that I try to present this in a way that will open your mind and give you another way of thinking and looking at the idea of moving your body. So let's start off with the whys. So why we should exercise. I mean, everybody knows, oh, you need to do this, and we should all exercise. So there are some very, very specific reasons why you should move your body. And what we recommend, we being myself and the trainers that I work with, um, is what is excuse me 30 minutes. Okay, let's back up the truck. It's 2% of your day. 2% of your day. So you should be in movement. So what is 2% of your day? 2% of a 24-hour day is 30 minutes. Okay. So 24 hours, 30 minutes. That's 2% of your entire day. That's all. That's all we're asking. 30 minutes of movement. Not extra. Not, I'm not saying jump on an elliptical. I'm not saying go out for a run, just movement. Okay. And we'll talk about the details of what that is. So 30 minutes every day of some type of movement. Okay. So that's what's recommended. That's what I would recommend to anyone is, start off at 20 and you gradually work up to 30, and 30 would be where you would want to be eventually. So why is it important? Well, when it comes to your overall health and your overall well-being, um, we need to look at the mental side of it. So one of the things that happens is when you get your heart rate up and you are moving your body, your brain has these incredible chemicals that it decides that it's going to release when you do that. And one of them is endorphins. And those are neurotransmitters, and they allow you endorphins make you feel good. And they make you feel good while they give you that little bit of euphoria, that kind of, and it might not be while it's happening, but it is something that you will experience that. Now, I always want to back up and say, and this is something we're going to talk about. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it now, but we are going to talk about it in the next segment when it comes to what you need to do, because it's very, very important that you select the right type of movement for you, your body, your likes, your preferences, and your situation. Okay. So, again, that release of neurotransmitters, endorphins, makes you feel good. It has a negative affect, or it decreases the negative effects of stress on your body. And we all know that we have, there's all sorts of times and places that we are inundated with stressful situations. And so it really does kind of drive that, and exercise kind of negates that and balances that out, takes away those negative, some of those negative impact, the negative impacts of stress on your body. Um, it obviously improves your cardiovascular, your immune system, your respiratory system, digestive system, all that good stuff. So, it also can be viewed as a moving meditation. So, for those people who I know, for one, I am a person who I really enjoy the solitude and the peace and the quiet of being out and doing something active. Whatever kind of movement I choose to do, I really enjoy that peace and solitude and that quiet, because my life is constantly inundated with lots of energy. So I'm going to ask in the questions, if you are somebody who likes to move your body every day, if you like to exercise or you do exercise, do you do it where it's quiet, or do you do it where there's, music and you need that uplifting, that energy, or you listen to a book or you listen to a podcast or something like that? Tell me, are you a podcast listener, a music listener? You have to be doing something. Do you need to be watching something on the screen in order to be able to get through any sort of movement that you're doing? Or do you like that peace and solitude? So tell us which you like in the comments. So in the comments, please share what is your preference when it comes to your time spent with movement. Um, so again, it also can allow you to decrease the chatter that goes on in your brain, that all that talk that goes on when you are out and you're moving your body. You can really let all that go. So if you're somebody who feels like you have constant thoughts just banging inside of your head, and you might have a little bit more of a leaning towards a degree of anxiety, this might be the answer for you, is looking at that. The other thing, improves your mood, your confidence, it relaxes you, it reduces the signs of depression and anxiety. So there are so many benefits to doing it. One of the more unknown benefits, and one thing that people don't talk often enough about, is it increases your ability to sleep soundly. When you exercise, now you have to be careful about what time you exercise. You don't want to exercise too close to bedtime, but it can really relax your body and allow you to be able to sleep in a much more sound and get a better quality of sleep. So that's hugely important. So all of these things, there's lots of different variations. So when I have been, I mean, I will be honest, exercise has always been a part of my life, always. I can remember we were in, gosh, how old was I? I was probably five or six. I was youngest in my family, four kids. And I can remember one night, it was after dinner, it was dark, probably 6 or 7 o'clock. I think it was during the winter time. And I remember my family, my parents, and all my siblings, and we went out for a run in the neighborhood. And we were lined up, and it was kind of like, I don't know if y'all, I'm going to age myself, but I don't know if y'all remember the Brady Bunch. And there was a Brady Bunch episode where the family went out for a jog together. And that's what my family did. And I can so clearly remember that. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like the Brady Bunch. Like, it was so exciting. We were like the Brady Bunch. But we went out, and that's a memory that is so implanted in my brain. And I think we only did it once, because then I think we were probably running in kids, so we didn't have the right shoes on. And then I think, a couple people got shin splints, and so we didn't do it, forever. But I so remember doing that. So it's always been a part of my life. But I've gone through phases where my reasons, my whys for doing it have been very um, drastic. So, for a long time, there was always been, and I've always been asked this a lot. of like when I wrote my book about um, emotional eating. So, When Food is Your Drug is the name of my book. And when I wrote that book, I had people asking me like, "Well, how did you must have just studied this because you weren't an emotional eater." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I have been for my entire life." And people couldn't understand that because it was like, well, but you've never looked like you've ever been overweight. And I've talked about this before, that I had a very skewed view of myself, of my body image, but I also used exercise as a way to keep myself in check, to keep my body in check, to make sure that, I was all about hiding what I was doing. I was all about not letting people know what was going on and not sharing, not ever letting anybody know what a odd relationship I had with food. And so I just used exercise as a way of combating that. Um, and that wasn't the right thing to do, because it was very detrimental to not only to my mental health but also to my body's physical health, because I was exercising excessively, and had to exercise excessively because of how much I was eating, and I had to balance that out. So it's really important to always remember what your why is for exercising. So right now, again, for anybody who's in the Facebook group, and if you're live on this call, I want you to write, what is your reason? What's your why for exercising? So why do you do it? Why do you exercise? So I'd like you to write that in the comments. Okay. So I'm gonna jump on over and so I can take a look here. Um, so absolutely, we have a lot of people who need music or a podcast or a TV. Sometimes it depends on the mood. Britt, I love that. Yeah, it depends on your mood. It can be both. Yeah, Gina says both as well. That is definitely. I mean, again, it's different for everybody. There's no right or wrong. It's just what works for you. Um, Gloria likes quiet and maybe watch a little TV. We got some country music people, music, watching something. Yeah. And I think it depends on the mood. And so that's super important. You have to know yourself to know what's going to work for you. And it also, it could be, whatever it is that you like to do. And we'll get to what that might look like. So the second aspect I want to talk about is the what. Like, what is movement supposed to look like? Because I think sometimes people get this very strict view of like exercise means you go out and you run for a certain period of time, or you have to get on your bike, or you have to go take a class, and it's very regimented and very much not enjoyable. It almost seems like punishment. And if you are in any way feeling like exercise, like if you view exercise as kind of like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this because I want to keep losing weight, I really want you to shift that way of thinking. And I also want you to shift and look at what you're choosing to do. What are you choosing to do as a form of movement? Because it has a huge impact on it. So the most important thing is that you must select some form of movement that you love, that makes you happy, and that you will do with consistency. So, that first and foremost, most important thing. I grew up working in gyms. So, I started teaching fitness classes when I was 18. I started working at gyms and was teaching fitness classes. And of course, there was the rest of the gym and all the workout equipment and all that. And so that was a part of my life for a really long time. And now I can't stand going into a gym. I absolutely, like, that is like, I've tried so hard. I've had, I can't even tell you, countless numbers of gym memberships, and I just can't do it because it's just not it doesn't resonate with me. So I finally decided, like, nope, gym doesn't work. I am much happier when I can just throw clothes on and don't have to get in the car. Now everybody makes jokes about me because now I have a gym in my own home, because I have, two pieces of Peloton equipment, but that's because I've found something that works for me. And it's taken me a long time to do that. And I've tried the gym over and over and over. And I've tried doing stuff on my own. And I've tried just, watching videos and all that. And it's just not, that doesn't work for me. There's a certain type of movement and there's a certain type of interaction that I really like. Um, do I like to take classes at studios? Absolutely not. 100%. I not only am the worst student, I don't follow directions very well. And that's usually true with instructors. I love teaching classes, but I do not like taking classes. And it has nothing to do with the instructor. It has nothing to do with I don't follow directions very well. As a teacher, you usually think, oh, we could do it this way. We could do that. And you're constantly thinking that it's too distracting. So I do not, I do not take classes. I don't take in-person classes. I take classes on my Peloton all the time because I found that really works for me and I found that really inspiring. But I really, it was very, very, it took a long time for me to figure that out. And I wasn't sure if that was going to be something that I was going to like, to be honest. It took me a while to figure that out. So again, you must do what you love. It must be convenient. It needs to be a no excuses zone. So like there's no excuses to why you can't do it. Whatever it is, you just got to say, you know what? I'm going to do it. This is what I've committed to. You need to schedule it like it is an appointment, like it's a doctor's appointment on your calendar. You've got to schedule it. You've got to make it a priority. It's got to be something that you want to do, that you want to invest in yourself. And again, it has to be something that you really look forward to. I am a part of a Facebook group that is run in accordance with one of my favorite Peloton instructors, and it's called You Get To. It's the You Get To crew because we don't look at like exercise as being or working out as being a punishment. It's you get to do it. It's a privilege. It's something that you're blessed by God to be able to do that. So that's really one of the things that is very important to me that I want to share with you is that you have to go into it with that attitude of like, I'm lucky I'm moving my body because there's so many people who can't. And even if you have limited mobility, there are so many things that you can do. I have created chair workouts for people. I have done, there's all sorts of things that can be done in a variety of ways for anybody to be able to at least move their body in some sort of way. So that's the what part of it. Again, we got to find what we love, what's going to work for us, what's going to be convenient. All right, the third part. How does movement help with emotional eating? So you hear me say this all the time. When we don't feel good, we don't make good choices. There is nothing that's going to make you feel more accomplished and make you feel like you've done something really, really good for your body when you move it. When you move your body, you will feel better. And you might not feel better while it's happening. Let's not lie. I am not going to lie and tell you that it is rainbows and unicorns when I'm working out. Oh, heavens no. It might not be. I might not be. It might not be in the mood. I might be really sore. I might be tired. I might think, oh my God. But afterwards, 100% certainty that I am going to feel good and I'm going to feel accomplished and I'm going to feel proud of myself. And all of us, especially all of us who are emotional eaters, we need to find any place where we can be proud of ourselves. We can build ourselves up. We can remember what amazing people we are and that there is nothing that we can't do. And if you can find something that makes you feel that way, heck yeah, do it every day. Do it as often as you can. But that is what we need to, that is what movement does for emotional eating is it helps you feel better about yourself. And that, along with our affirmations, along with gratitude, along with deciding how you're going to talk to yourself, along with monitoring your self talk and making sure that it stays positive, that is going to move you in a direction that is going to help your emotional eating significantly. Significantly, even if it's something so basic and simple, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be fancy. In fact, I don't want it to be fancy. So we have to remember that it doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to move though. Okay. Let me look here. Again, we have to remember that those feel good hormones are released when we're exercising, and that is going to help as well. Um, another piece is it gives you a go-to. And I'm not saying that we ignore our feelings and we just say, "Oh, I'm going to go out for a walk," instead of actually processing and dealing with my emotions. Now, what I want you to really think about is I want you to think about movement as being something that when you get yourself into that state where all of a sudden you're feeling like, "Oh gosh, I I think I want a snack. I think why not process your emotions by going out and taking a walk and processing your emotions as you're doing that and getting yourself out of the environment and really then going in and thinking about what is it? Why did I feel that way? Not just exercising to distract yourself, it's using movement to then be able to process emotion. And so that's huge. That's going to go a long way when it comes to helping you manage and address your emotional eating. Um, and so a couple of examples of this is for those of you who have listened to the podcast on a morning routine. On I called it the Miracle Morning, but the podcast on a morning routine, that is, gratitude walks first thing in the morning, getting out and just going for a walk. It's not, and again, it doesn't need to be, a 10-minute mile walk. I mean, it needs to be just getting out, breathing, getting outside, going for a walk, having some quiet time in nature, and having that really open your mind and having that really relax you as well. So again, that those gratitude walks, incorporating that can be very, very powerful, and that will help also with emotional eating. I would love to see in the comments how many of you are doing gratitude walks in the morning. I do them every morning. Every morning that I can get out, I go do them. I think I'm 3 for 3 this week. So I do gratitude walks every morning. So if you are a person who does gratitude walks, write gratitude in the comments. Gratitude in the comments. If you are a person who does a gratitude walk first thing in the morning. If you don't know what a gratitude walk is, I want to check out that podcast where we talk about morning routines. Um, and then the last thing is I want to challenge you to look at exercise and movement, not as a way of burning calories, not as a way of I need to do this so I can continue to lose weight, but as a way of not only de-stressing, showing yourself love, showing yourself your body appreciation, clearing your head mentally and emotionally, and doing something that is going to make you feel so good about yourself because you're taking care of yourself. I think that movement is the ultimate in self-care. It is the ultimate thing that we can do to show ourselves love, is to move our bodies so our body is able to be there for a much longer time than it would be if we didn't. So I really want to challenge you to really start to change your thoughts, because we know thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions get us our results. We need to start looking at what we're doing, how we're doing it, how we're incorporating movement in, and are we just doing it because it's what we have to do, or do we get to do it? Are we having that viewpoint? Do we say, you know what, I get to do this and I think this is really cool, and yes, it's going to help me in a variety of ways, but it's something I get to do. So I want you to make sure, I really want you to think about that and think about how you go in to any sort of movement experience. Going in with the right attitude and with the right feeling is going to make all the difference in the world. And again, so many of you, and I speak to people all the time in the DMs, and probably the overriding, not complaint, but the overriding cause of people not being able to lose weight or gaining weight back is stress. And so this is an automatic stress reducer. So we really need to make sure that we are looking at it. It is a way to reduce stress. It is a way to again not only balance out balance out the stress that we're taking into our bodies, and then the stress, the movement actually counteracts that. But really deciding that you're doing this because you love yourself. It's not about any sort of punishment. It's not because you have to, it's because you get to. So I would love to make sure that everyone is focusing on that and having that be your really your kind of your gateway into movement, and just calling it movement. It doesn't have to be exercise. It doesn't have to be anything strict and structured. Nothing like that. Just get out and move your body 30 minutes a day. You don't have to start there. You can start at 20, you can start at 15, you can start at 10, but we all have to start somewhere and just get our bodies moving. It feels so amazing when you have blood pumping through your body. So that is really my challenge to you is, can you commit not only to doing this for yourself, but also can you commit to having the right kind of mindset and the right kind of attitude and thoughts about movement, moving your body, and not having it be punitive, not having it be punishment, but having it be because it's the ultimate display of love for yourself. So that is my challenge to you. So in the comments, if you feel like you can commit to joyful movement, I want you to write the word joyful in the comments, and I know you will be on board and you will begin to incorporate that into your life. Now, I am not going to in any way hide from the fact that, yes, will moving your body help you lose weight? 150%. If you are, for a variety of reasons, but if you are at a place where you're like, I've been here for a week and a half and I don't know what to do, and I'm like, I'm cutting out this, that, and the other thing, which again, you might just have to be making smaller portions. But before you do that, or even while you're doing that, throw in some movement. Have some movement. Maybe if you already are exercising, increase it a little bit. Increase your movement. Increase your daily output of energy, and see what that does. Because it will, not only is it going to make you healthier, but it's also going to really help you be able to take control of what you want to have happen when it comes to your emotional eating and your weight. All right, so joyful movement is what we are looking for in the comments, and I love it. I'm seeing all sorts of them. So I have from Jackie, from Tammy, Denise, Jill, MK, Dawn, Carol, Ruth, Gina, Billy, Dina. All right, love that. Love, love, love that. So again, let's all really try and focus on and I love what Billy said. Billy said, you know, I get to and not have to. Yeah, yeah. Have to is just, have to sounds like drudgery. Get to, so much better. So much better. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Again, love having everyone here. Thank you for joining me on the podcast. If you are, again, if you're listening on the podcast, thank you so much for being here. If you're not a member of the Breakthrough community, please come join us. www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks so much.